Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for checking back in on my Lexus IS300 turbo build. Today basically is nothing but coolers, coolers, and coolers. I've got a big transmission cooler that's going to get mounted on the condenser. Hopefully it fits. We'll check it out. We'll see if it works. Power steering cooler that's going to replace the hard lines that float in front of the condenser. And then my turbo intercooler that's going to go in front of all of that. I'm hoping that I can have some space in between all so that there's nice air passage between everything, and also no vibration or any kind of rattling once I'm finally out and driving. So yeah, that's what we're going to be diving into. I got a little my little shifter ring that I painted black that we're going to show installed as well. And yeah, that's going to be basically it for this video. Check it out.
Alright, so in the last video I explained how I wanted to get all the chrome out of my interior, and one of the first things I wanted to do was paint this ring that goes around the shifter. And basically the initial plan was to sand the layer of chrome. It's just like a little flake that they put on it, plastic layer. The whole thing is plastic, obviously, but I couldn't sand that off, so I basically just really roughed it up and buffed it down. And then I just used a regular rattle can paint to spray it, but looks good. It's gonna match up pretty well. I'll have that hooked up here in just a second. I'm also thinking about using my ashtray as like an iPod or a iPhone charging dock. There's a lot of holes in here where I could potentially slip wires through for charging, and then just have the phone sit right there at my disposal. And I don't know if that's ever been done, but I'm gonna check it out, and it should work pretty well. So basically here I have to get rid of these hard lines here in order for my coolers to fit. So I'm going to test fit a couple coolers here, see what works out, but I'm going to try and put a small one here and then a larger trans cooler here, but this will have to go first. I made my cut the other day and we'll see how this works out. Okay, so I went ahead and decided to cut down further, all the way down to the bottom. I don't think it's going to take much of the brace support away, but the reason why I did this, yeah, the intercooler would fit and all right up to here, but I did notice it was touching. I don't want to have any kind of vibration or grinding or anything, so I just went ahead and I sliced it down more. And one thing I'm also going to have to do is this intercooler bracket or mount or whatever you want to call it. It's going to go right there like so, which is all fine and dandy, but those little mounting tabs right there are a little too long on the edge if I'm going to mount any kind of cooler in front of that or in between the condenser and the tabs. So I'm going to have to grind this down just a little bit, maybe like a ½ inch on each one, and then we'll see if everything will go ahead and fit up in there. Okay, so what you see here is my two coolers I decided to go with. The one on the left side is a much larger cooler for the transmission, and the one on the right side is going to replace those hard lines we were talking about. I shortened them down to right there. I'll have to bend those to kind of make them snug fit right here on these little nipples. So I'll get some hose connected up there, down here. This almost didn't work. It almost didn't fit. Fortunately, with you know, angled fittings, I was able to take a 45 and slide it right through here, and there's just barely access right there to probably put the hose, and as well down here, as you can see, just barely enough. Fortunately, I had this lying around. I do have a black one on the way just to kind of match things up and make it look better, but also you can see right here the tabs, I had to cut them so they cleared the cooler. You can see kind of, yeah, right there, this one just barely. However they had these made, wasn't quite perfect, but yeah, it's still clearing. There's space definitely for sure in between. No vibration, no rubbing. Everything's on really snug. One thing I did have to do is take this off here and this down here just so I could pull it out a little bit to slide this cooler's end piece, little tab, underneath, so it's nice and clean looking and as tight as it can possibly be. I'm pretty happy with the result here. I think it's going to work out great, and now I'm going to put the intercooler on front. So got the intercooler mounted back on. Everything fits. It's pretty snug, but I am happy that there is space in between. Nothing is touching, so I shouldn't have any vibrations. There's plenty of room for each cooler to breathe and work the way it should. Very happy with the result. Crash bar is going to be able to fit on, but I'm not doing that until I get like all my hoses and proper fittings lined up. Like I said, I did have to bend this a little bit, but it lines right up really good, and the bottom one will go down just fine. So everything's looking good. Very happy with the end result so far. Also, just wanted to finish up the video and show you the final install of the ring around the shifter here. Looks very good in my opinion. All the other chrome stuff's gonna get turned black here soon, so things should start looking good. This will get black also. These little tiny things right here I'm gonna make black. Somehow or another I'll get this black. Everything will turn black in here that had chrome on it. Pedals, I'm gonna work on that too. So hopefully all that works out and looks good.
Alright, I want to thank you all for watching the video and taking the time to check things out on my IS300 turbo build. Go ahead and hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed so you can get some notifications on all my videos that are coming up here. I'm going to try and keep them flowing, just keep them going, and sooner or later this bitch will be riding. So until then, keep checking back. Later guys.